My name is Christy, and this is Angel Talk, where the Archangels are real, relevant, and accessible to everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Let's talk. Hello, everybody. This is Christy Michelle Riggs. Thank you guys so much for being with me for another episode of Angel Talk. If you've been with me for a while now, thank you. I appreciate all the love and support. If you are new and this is the first time that you're finding me, welcome. This is our weekly angel awareness, and we are going to be seeing what the angels have for us to be aware of and what we can be focused on that will help us navigate these energies for the month of August. And there are a lot of intense energies. It's very fiery. So this is going to be for the week of August the 16th through the 22nd. Now, we have a lot that's going to happen this week, a lot of planetary influence. The Sun is in Leo, Mercury is in Leo, Mars is in its home sign of Aries. There is some influence from the planetary body that we've talked about that is the sister of Mars, Eris. And so Mars in its home sign is going to have some contact with her and kind of fuel her fire. We've talked about that she is known as the female awakener, and she's feisty. My youngest daughter, Chloe, when she was little, she used to call it being feisty, and she would get upset with her older sister, and she would come downstairs in the sweetest little voice and these big tears, and she would say, "Kayla is being feisty to me." And so anytime I use that word, I think of that when she was little and she would say that. So it's feisty, this energy. But that's okay. You know, we need that. We need that fuel to navigate the crumbling away of the old and the building of the new, because in the expression of its highest consciousness, that kind of energy is very empowering and it's very creative. It doesn't have to be expressed through those shadow energies of war and conflict and that kind of thing. It does not have to be expressed in that way at all. We always have a choice. We've talked about that so many times that, yes, these planetary bodies have an influence on us. Yes, we can look to the planetary bodies and the gateways and the portals and the energies that they offer and the themes that they offer. But ultimately, we always have a choice as to what state of consciousness that we're going to be in and how we're going to respond to those energies, because the energies themselves have shadow and light qualities to them. And so if we remember that energy is cyclical and not linear, and what we've talked about before is how instead of looking at things as opposing and in like this aggressive opposition to one another, if we can look at it more as a spiral or as a circle and understand that one is not the polar opposite of the other in actuality. It's the same energy expressing in a different way. It's contrast, and they go together. Like you can't have top without bottom, you can't have back without front, you can't have dark without light. And we've talked about that quite a bit here recently. So it's important to keep that in mind as we have these different cosmic events these different new moons, full moons, retrogrades, the different movement of the planets and the influences of those things, it's extremely important that we not buy into this idea that we have no choice, or that, somehow these planets are doing this to us. They simply are doing what they do, and we can get into the flow of that and get into a rhythm and work with the energy, or we can fight against it. And that's usually, well, it's never been in my experience that's going to have a good outcome. It's going to cause us a lot of unnecessary energy depletion, confusion, frustration, those kind of things. And that's sometimes a difficult place to get back out of once we're down in there. So if we can just keep in mind that we always, always, always have our free will choice to look at things from a higher perspective, to understand what's going on, and to make a decision ahead of time. Because it's hard when you're triggered to make that split-second decision. But if you get in that place ahead of time and you practice being in that state of consciousness, and you just decide that that's the lens that you're going to see through, then the way that our universe works and the way that our reality works is whatever you focus on, whatever you think that you're going to see in the world, whatever you believe that you're going to experience, then the universe will give you evidence of that. So if you believe that you are going to have an experience of compassion and love and peacefulness and unity, then the universe will show you evidence of that. And more that will be your experience. And the same thing happens with the lower level energies, with the energies of lower consciousness. If you expect that good things are never going to happen, that the world is falling apart and can never be good again, that there's not enough to go around, that you can never have abundance and things never work out for you, then guess what? That is going to be your reality, because the universe is going to show you evidence of whatever it is that you're looking to see, whatever lens that you're looking through, because we are mirroring the universe and it's mirroring us. We have a whole universe within us, and the universe that we think of as outside of us is just holding up a great big mirror to whatever it is that's going on within us individually, internally. So it's really, really important that we keep that in mind and that we have that understanding, so that as we are working through these things and as things come up in our daily lives and in our world and in our experience, that instead of looking outside of ourselves to point the blame or to try to find what is causing this to do this to us, that the first place that we need to look is within. What's going on within me? What do I need to take a look at within me that is causing this to be mirrored in my external reality, right? So just keep that in mind as we move through these fiery energies. Keep that in mind. If you're triggered, if you are, feeling really agitated, frustrated, if these fiery energies are causing that kind of a response in you, go within. Go within and ask the angels to help you find the seed of that. What within me is being triggered and being asked to be looked at and evaluated and worked through. And so that leads us right in to the first card that I have pulled for this message for this week. And just, I swear, I love the synchronicity of how all of this comes together, and that the angels will, I've been talking to the angels for 41 years now, and I've been doing this for the last 6 years, I guess, and it still never ceases to amaze me, the synchronicities and how the angels will come in and remind me that we do have so much help, and we do have so much influence, and so many messages and so many things that are trying to get our attention if we just open up to it and choose to see it. And so the first card is the Peaceful Warrior card, and it's Archangel Ariel. It says, "Thank you, Ariel, for helping me stand my ground with peace." Now, Archangel Ariel is not one that I have worked with very much. And so I looked up the meaning of that name. And it means lioness of God. So you can't make this stuff up, right? So we're just coming out of the Lionsgate portal, still very much under that influence. We are right in the middle of, Leo season. We've got this Leo new moon. We've got the sun and the moon, both in Leo. So this card is just absolutely perfect. And it goes right along with the card from last week when we were talking about the qualities of the Divine Mother and the qualities of the Divine Feminine. And we touched a little bit on this last week about how the authentic expression of the Divine Feminine energy is very steadfast, very solid, very unshakable, very peaceful. And what I was led to when I was meditating on this, I'm really asking the angels to show me the deeper, like an even deeper understanding of this message. And they drew my attention to thinking about the female lion. And, we think about lions, we usually think about the male lion and the king of the jungle. And, he's head boss man in charge, right? And what they showed me was how the female lion will, if you've ever watched anything like on the Discovery Channel or anything like that, or read anything about lions, what you see is the female lions are kind of more in the background. They've got the cubs, around them, and there are the other female lions, the lioness, I guess, from the pride, and they're all together. And at first glance, it looks like they're not doing much, right? But when you start to study like their behavior, or I've watched, I think it's fascinating. So I've watched a couple of programs about that and read some things, and what they're actually doing is it's kind of, I don't want to say an illusion. They are not just laying there doing nothing. They are embodying these divine feminine qualities. They are not trying to get in the male lion's way of what his role is for the pride. They're not fighting amongst each other with the other female lions. They're all working together. They're calm. But they are always looking and listening for danger, for where there's danger, to ward that off before it ever gets to where the cubs are and where the pride is. And I thought that was really neat that the angels drew my attention to that, because that's what we're really being called to do, is to tune into our intuition and get really clear on what that sounds like, what that feels like, and be able to discern that from the voice of the ego. Now, the ego's not bad and the intuition's not better than the ego. They just each have a purpose. They each have a function, but because things have been distorted for so long and the ego has been asked to do things that it was not created to do, it's kind of freaking out right now because it doesn't know what it's supposed to do. And other than it knows it's supposed to keep us alive, whether that means emotionally, physically, whatever. If it senses danger and it's been asked to take a position and to perform a role that it was not created to do. And so we just have to recalibrate. That's it. It's just as simple as that. We don't need to start shaming ourselves and shaming our ego and that kind of thing. That's not necessary. We just have to understand its purpose and recalibrate it, reprogram it to do what it was created to do, and then tune into our intuition so that we can allow it to do what it was created to do, which is keep us connected to Source, keep us connected to God, the angels, the cosmos, the energy that's there, that comes in, that speaks to the God within, that tells us what is the best action to take. It gives us that feeling. It's that small voice that speaks to us and nudges us this way or that way. And the thing is, when you are tuned into that, and the Native Americans knew this, so they were so clear on this, and they had this matriarchal society. And when I say matriarchal society, and we talk so much about the divine feminine, please don't misunderstand. I am in no way saying that now, we've been in this patriarchal society where men have been in charge and men are running the show, and now we need to kick them to the side, and now, women are in charge and we need to be running stuff. That's not what I'm saying at all. Not by any means. What I'm saying is, because intuition, a very strong intuition, is one of the authentic divine feminine qualities. Not that, and again, men and women have feminine and masculine within each of us. But as we come into these bodies and we take on these genders, it requires us to work together. And the way that we work together for the highest and greatest good is for the feminine and the masculine to each be in a balanced place within themselves individually. And then if you're kind of, my husband and I have, when we were together, I used to refer to it as staying in your lane. And that doesn't carry the same energy as know your place. That's not it. It's have a full embodiment. Let that empower you, whether you're masculine or, in a masculine or a feminine expression in this lifetime. Be empowered. Feel empowered by those things that God has given you, that you are just naturally wired up to be strong in those areas. And allow that to empower you. And so when you do that, you can work together and come together with the other. So if you're, feminine, you can come together with your divine masculine and vice versa, and you can fit together like puzzle pieces, and both of you embody those full expressions and those strengths, and you can really have an incredible partnership in that way. And then that expands out into the communities that you're in. And so these Native Americans were very clear on that. And the matriarch of the tribe, the family, the group, very, very tuned in to her intuition and tuned into the threat of danger, any kind of danger. And so how that would be helpful is you can make choices when you are aware of what's going on. Then you can make choices to hold space. You can you can put yourself in a consciousness that says, I'm going to stand my ground peacefully. I'm going to be aware of what's going on. I'm going to be able to navigate that and hold this space without losing my composure and getting into a place where I'm then reactive. I can respond rather than react. And I can do it in a way that is for the highest and greatest good. And so that's where we really have to be tuned in to our intuition and get past the voice of the ego. Because the ego is always going to want us to be right. The ego, 9 times out of 10, is going to want us to defend in a way that is of the same vibration and the same energy of what we feel like we need to defend against. And so then no progress can be made from that place. We're just going to spiral down, like we've talked so many times. We're just going to keep spiraling down in a energy of chaos and destruction and fighting, and no progress, no growth can come from there. But if somebody, or if we see something in our reality, or we're experiencing something in our reality where somebody is trying to have an argument with us, is trying to trigger us, or maybe not even trying to trigger us, they're just doing something just because they feel compelled to do it, and we end up being triggered by it, or we're triggered by the news, or we're triggered by what's going on in the world, we're triggered by politics. There's lots of potentials for triggering right now. But if we can make a choice to tune into our intuition and embody this peaceful warrior, embody this divine feminine archetype, or even if you're a masculine listening to this, you have that within you. And so if those warrior energies are being triggered within you and you feel reactive, and that brings about an aggressive response. You can tune in to that within yourself and become balanced with that within yourself and hold that space within yourself, hold that space within your family, your relationships, your workplace. You can hold that space and from that space, you can choose how to respond instead of being triggered to a knee-jerk reaction. So that's really important, especially as we have all of this fire energy that we're being influenced by right now. It's incredibly, incredibly important that we get ourselves in that space through meditation, through whatever it is that brings you a sense of being centered and in tune with yourself, in tune with God, in tune, source, higher power, whatever you call that, in tune with what's going on that allows you to be in a higher state of consciousness that is not a reactive place. It's a place that allows you to respond. And so that way, 9 times out of 10, if you are operating from that place, you're not going to have to take like a physical action. But if you do, then you can know that action is, whatever action you're guided to take is coming from where God is speaking to you. It's coming from pure intent. It's not coming from the ego's need to be right or defend a position or to get back at somebody. It's coming from pure intent, and our intention is everything. And so then our outcomes are going to be very different. Now, the second card that goes along with this is a card that we have talked about before, I believe in one of the episodes about retrograde. I think one of the first episodes that I did. And it's the Archangel Michael card, and it says, release what no longer serves you. And it's a reminder. This message is a reminder of what we talked about then, where, we talk so much about trying to find what is no longer serving me, and then that can start to cause us to pick apart everything, and when we do that, we're looking through a lens of negativity because we're trying to find what's wrong. And like we just said, when we do that, the universe will show us evidence of that. If we're looking for things to be wrong and we're suspicious of things to be wrong, then the universe is going to provide us with evidence to support that. So what Archangel Michael is calling us to release is releasing the need to always be right, releasing the need to approach things with a fight, releasing the need to prove a point, releasing the need to focus on the negativity, and be in this space of the peaceful warrior where we are aware. It's not that we're living in a delusional reality. We are aware of what's going on, but from that space, we can understand why it's going on, and we can hold space within ourselves. And for those that we have influence over, our families, our children, we can be that strong, safe haven that the Divine Mother was speaking to us about last week. So I think that is a really awesome message as we are moving through these very fiery energies. I'm going to be doing a message for the new moon in Leo, and that's going to be on the 18th and 19th, depending on where in the world you are. Now, the other message that I'm going to be doing that I had not intended to do a message about, but it has been brought to my attention that just the importance of it. And so the angels have have guided me to go on and do a message about the Uranus retrograde, because that is going to be understanding that and understanding the themes surrounding that that's going to be really important to helping us understand what's going on overall right now. So that's not something that I would have normally done a message about, but the angels are guiding me to do that. So that actually, Uranus goes retrograde actually today, the 15th. So later today, at some point, a message will be up talking about the Uranus retrograde and the guidance that the angels have for us for that, and how that plays into the bigger picture. So I want to thank you guys again for being here with me again this week. If you want any kind of a healing service, a angel card reading, intuitive coaching and counseling sessions, if you just want to contact me with a question, a message, all that information you can find in the description box, and I would love to connect with you in that way. Thank you guys for all your support. It really warms my heart and means the world to me. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a wonderful week ahead. And we will talk again soon.
I am not an island. I want to feel the connection.